What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Platinum Podcast, where we talk about all things gaming, all things PlayStation, and all things trophies. I'm your host, Lewis, also known as PlatinumBro, and I'm joined by my handsome as ever co-host, Joel, also known as GuyFarruski. How are you today, Joel?
I'm doing good. Doing very good. How are you?
Very good. I'm doing pretty well as well. It's a little bit early today. We're doing a podcast at 10 a.m. on this Saturday morning, and it's been a glorious day as well. So moods are high, shall we say?
Well, glorious for you, because for me it's very wet.
Yeah, I was like making the most of the sun, walking the dog this morning, texting Joel like, "Yeah, I'll be back in 5 minutes," and he just replied like, "Yeah, I'm soaking. I might be a little bit longer." I was like, it's glorious out here today. But because of such, I've just been saying that Dexter, my dog, has been a bit needy today. He's just by my feet now, and he keeps like hitting his tail off everything. So if you hear like a thud, it's just his tail.
Yeah, not PlatinumBro doing inappropriate things.
No, it's not me doing inappropriate things under the table. I am almost certain of that. So what we do with the podcast is just me and Joel again today. Just me and Joel, some quality time, PlatinumBro and GuyFarruski. And we'll start with how we always start, which is, what games have we actually been playing? So Joel, take us away, my friend.
There's been a few. Rayman, as always, still working on those dailies.
Daily challenges, yeah,
Daily
boy.
challenges. I think I've got like another 4.5 months left. Division 2, which I've platinumed yesterday. Digimon Cyber Sleuth, which I've also platinumed. Oh, well, I platinumed that the day before. And then FIFA 17, which is... I've done everything apart from one trophy, which I'm dreading, which is to do the online FUT tournament. So I have to actually play against other players, so I have to actually get good at the game.
Can you still actually platinum that game?
I hope so. Or else I've done it all for nothing.
So, bravo, firstly, on all those platinums this week, all those plats. So, they're all pretty big games. Now, Division 2 is notoriously glitchy. Did you have any more glitches during your time?
Not this time. I did when I first played it, and I had to do like almost a full playthrough just to get to that Bounties trophy. So I had to create a new character, do all that. I did that first, got that out of the way. And then the other trophies were fairly straightforward. The only thing that is annoying is you get like a mini heart attack after you meet the requirements for every trophy, because there's like a little delay before the trophy pops.
There's nothing worse than when you're sitting there, you've done the requirements of the trophy, and you're just sitting there like,
yeah.
Oh my god. I've once had trophies pop like 3-4 minutes later, and you're just sitting there like,
oh Jesus.
I have to start my whole game again. I have to just in that time period, you're just staring into nothingness, completely reevaluating your life. Like, why did I even do this for nothing?
I feel like that was a problem with a lot of PS3 games. Not as much in PS4. I think PS4 with the delays, it's probably like a 5-6 second at the most that I've had. But PS3 games were brutal. So brutal.
It's really jarring going back to PlayStation now, because everything is obviously, the console is quite the slow beast, but also it's when you just see like the trophies just pop up so late at you, and you're just like, I like the PlayStation 3 trophy pop though. It's beautiful.
I like the I think the PlayStation 4 one's my favorite. I don't really like the PS5 one, I'm going to be honest.
Nah.
It's a bit too I don't even know how to say it. It's like it doesn't feel like you've achieved something. It's too quiet, I think.
Yeah, it's like
it's not like a big deal.
It's like Sony basically saying, "Well done, but we really don't care that you've earned a trophy." And no one else does, except us, except the niche 5,000 people who actually care about trophies. Yeah. Nobody else cares. That is the sad reality of our situation. What about Digimon?
What have you been playing?
No, let's continue with Digimon. So, isn't that like a massive monster JRPG grind?
114 hours it took me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must be one of the longest games you've played in a long time, excluding DMC5.
Yeah, DMC5 wasn't a long game. It was just the learning curve that it's not actually like the game that takes that long. It's just like your skill level. You need to memorize the levels and stuff. With Digimon, it was just mindless grinding. It was just I had to grind for all the medals, which are collectibles. There's 500 of them, and every single one. There's 3 ways you can get them, and every single one of those ways is all RNG.
My God.
Ain't
nobody got time for that. That is for certain. So, have you not got another Digimon game on your list as well?
I do. But people tell me that the medals, like if you have a save file from this game, it carries over to the other game. So, but there's 700 medals in this one, so I still need to grind for like 200.
Wow. Haven't they like sort of remastered Digimon World on the PlayStation 1? Haven't they kind of like relaunched it into another game recently?
I don't know.
I
There's,
think
there's a lot of people on Reddit saying that they've not played this one, but they've played the Digimon World one. So I'm guessing so.
I think it kind of like it's like a like a reboot of sorts. They've taken the idea and ran with it. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like that was such a hard game for a kid. I don't think I ever got past like the first 3 hours because Digimon would just die of old age.
Yeah, I never played Digimon World 1, but I played Digimon World 3, and that was along those lines. I got to a certain point every time, and then I get to one boss which would just destroy me.
Yeah. It's
straight up.
random. And you could digivolve your Pokemon. I keep saying Pokemon. You could digivolve your Digimon into like any form, couldn't you? It wasn't just like, Agumon becomes like Greymon. It would be like Agumon becomes any random Angelmon or something.
You couldn't even choose though. It
was random,
it was like
it
was a set thing. Like you'd get like you said, you'd get an Agumon, and then it'll change to like a Garurumon or something. And it's like this doesn't make any sense. With this one, you can choose, but you do have like some weird Digivolutions as well. You've got like different paths you can go through. I think that's because they limit the amount of Digimon you have, so they don't have all like the baby ones. They don't have all the rookie ones, so they kind of change it around a bit.
Isn't that like, I remember on Digimon World on PlayStation 1, if you didn't do your stats right, it would just always digivolve into this giant like yellow turd with arms. Do you remember?
Sakuyamon.
Yeah, it was always a digivolve into that, so I would just be running around with this massive yellow turd all of the time. Like, just no wonder I got killed all of the time. I was like happy when I died of old age. I was like, well, yeah, give me a new Digimon because I'm sick of this big turd.
I never played the first one. Like the third one had like different mechanics. Like you'd have like 3 set ones, and then I think you could find like 2 or 3 during the game that you could change over, but that was it. You couldn't really have. With this one, you can have like every Digimon in the game you can have, which I really liked.
That was good.
Not like a certain game that you have to buy 2 separate games in order to get all the creatures.
I think that's a dig at the game. I don't know what you're referring to.
Pokemon.
Oh right, yeah, Pokemon.
You can't have all the Pokemon in a game, can you?
No, I think you can now, can't you?
Not in the. I think you can with the Switch one. Pokemon. Was it Go? No, not Go.
I remember playing Pokemon Omega Ruby, and that was the first one I played, which had like random trades. So you could like a wonder trade. You could just trade any Pokemon off, and you get anything back. So there'd be thousands of Caterpies. Don't get me wrong. You'd be sending off your Snorlax and getting a Caterpie or a Pidgey, but every now and then you get an absolute gold dust. Someone once sent me level 100 Gengar, and I was like, this is definitely glitched. I think it was like just the most glitched Pokemon in existence. But it was cool though. I like the wonder trade.
Isn't the max level 99 anyway?
Yeah, no, it's 100. It is 100.
It is 100, is it? Okay.
That's the first game where I ever got a Pokemon to level 100 as well. Normally you get about 85, don't you? And you sort of like tap out, but I think I've got my... Oh, what's the blue bird dragon from Ruby called? Like Altair or something.
Oh, I can't remember. I'm
not
familiar with
or something. But that was the first time I ever got a Pokemon to level 100.
It's a hell of a grind getting them to level 100 anyway. Once you get to like level 80, you can take on the Elite Four with just the one Pokemon.
Yeah, but
it doesn't even matter what the attributes are.
Yeah, pretty much. But the thing is, with the later games, they brought in like the XP party share, didn't they? So it was kind of like every single Pokemon in your party got like a quarter of the XP of the main Pokemon fighting, so that they just kept leveling up.
That's so harsh. That's another good thing Digimon does, is that all you Digimon get the equal amount of XP.
Oh, right. Well, I would probably say, bear in mind, like 10 years ago, only the battling Pokemon got XP, so it made the game too easy, I would have said, because it meant that your Pokemon would just level up so fast. And I think Pokemon is a kid's game. I mean, I love it, but it is easy because of the fact that you can just keep grinding. And
you'd end up being limited, though, wouldn't you? Because you'd have those 3 starters, or those 6 starters, let's say, that you always use, and then you'd catch these other Pokemon, but you couldn't be bothered to level them up.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you had those 6 powerful ones.
That is also true, yeah.
So you'd never really have like any variety.
I was thinking about getting a Switch, actually, to be fair, and getting a Let's Go Eevee, but I just don't know if I can justify it yet. Maybe when the new Switch comes out and the old Switch is like a bit cheaper, I might go for it. Let's Go Pikachu and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I want to play that bad boy. Anyways,
is that exclusive then?
Yeah, it's exclusive, man. God, it's like the worst thing ever. You know what? They probably made a lot of money. They probably sold a couple million units. But if that was on PlayStation 4 and Xbox 360, they would have Xbox One. They would have sold another 5, 6, 7, 8 million units easy, I think.
It might come out in the future. How long was 80s out before it came out on the PlayStation?
2 years. I think Marvel Alliance 2 has been out for about 2 years though, and I think they don't want to share.
They don't.
Nintendo don't want to share. They aren't sharers. No first party console creators are sharers. Let's be real. So it's not just Nintendo in that regard.
See, Dan from Platrums, Nintendo ain't all that great, is it?
Yeah, Dan. God
damn it.
So anyway, the games I've been playing, I've only been playing the
Nothing
one game, which is Hades. And I've spoke about this very fondly. I've live streamed it. I would have live streamed this twice by the time this video comes out, and it's just a goddamn fantastic game. I'm loving doing it. I think because I'm quite busy at the moment, it's great because you can just jump in for half an hour, 45 minutes, and just jump straight out. And it's just a really rewarding game, fun gameplay, good little story. It's great. The Platinum Trophy, however, and the trophies are an absolute mess. Like I've said this a few times. So me and Joel, quite avid trophy list lookers, reviewers. We reviewed a lot of trophy lists, reviewed a lot of your guys' trophy lists and games you played. And usually you can get a feel for how hard the trophy list is by looking at the trophies. And then in comes Hades, where the trophies just don't make sense at all. They're very, very specific to the game. And it's like, you're reading through these things like, what is this? Like, it's like, unlock Skelly's first prize. And you're like, right, I've unlocked that now. And what you have to do is you have to play the game 10 times to like finish to get the end game. Then you have to then finish the game on like extreme conditions, which is where you add more difficulty to the game. And then he goes, well done, here's a statue, trophy. It's like, what? Like, how could you have got from that description to that? And I feel like all the trophies are very secretive in their regards. And it's kind of just like, what is going on?
That's annoying. That's very annoying when you look at a trophy and you don't want to get spoiled, but you have no choice but to get spoiled because
you have no idea.
You have no idea how to unlock it.
That's basically the story of me playing Hades. I'm like, what is this? I'm looking through my trophy list, and I'm like, every day I have to go through a trophy guide and be like, that's what that means, right? And I'll forget it again because it's really complicated. It's not just like, oh, you have to find this or do this. It's like, you have to find this 84 times and then talk to this person 11 times, and then you get a trophy, and it's like, what?
Where the trophy's like, pick up this specific sword. But it doesn't tell you where the sword is, how to get the sword. Then when you go and check, you have to go. It's GTA 5 has a trophy like that. It's Kiflom, and you have to do you have to like join this cult. Then you have to walk around the desert for like 10 kilometers. Then you have to wear this special outfit for like 10 days in game. Then you have to go and retrieve a suitcase. And then after you do the final choice, that's when you get the trophy.
What on earth is that, man? Like,
it was such a weird trophy.
That's ridiculous. Also, though, there is a PlayStation sale on it at the moment. Obviously, I'm not going to go into details because I can't remember it anyway. It hasn't been a good sale since probably July. The summer sale was decent. I kind of regret not buying PS Now on sale because it was like, I think it was only £30 for the whole year instead of £50. Big regret there. I think I'm going to get it in the new year. But I actually picked up Gris, Gris.
Oh,
it was like £5, and obviously I've seen a few people talk about it in the Discord because it's quite an easy game, 5-6 hours, like quite a colourful experience game. I am looking forward to playing that at some point this year, before the new year anyway.
Yeah, I've got that one on my list as well.
Yeah, the sales
looks pretty.
Yeah, it does exactly. It just looks like a nice, immersive game where you can just have a couple hours and just enjoy yourself, which is, what we all want to do when we play video games. Yeah. But the sale isn't great, guys. I wouldn't recommend picking much up from there unless there's something you really wanted, because there's a few big games that are kind of like 20% off. I think, but other than that, it's not a great deal. You can buy Assassin's Creed Odyssey for like £12.
Yes, no.
Okay, so let's move on anyway. So, guys, we've got a few topics today we want to talk about. A few trophy hunting topics. They're all trophy hunting topics. Shock. So the first topic we're going to talk about today is, just get my little notepad up. Every podcast I always have a little notepad. The title is one game we've platinumed we think nobody else should platinum. It's worth mentioning as well that I actually put this out in the Discord and on YouTube for some suggestions. So thank you very much, everybody who gave me some ideas. You guys have fueled this podcast, you legends. So on that, as I've said, we're going to talk about a game that we've platinumed we think nobody should platinum again, and why. So on that, I will hand it over to my glorious co-host Joel, and you can start us off, my friend.
I don't really have a game that I've platinumed that I don't recommend anybody platinum. But I will say, any of those 99p games, actually I have, but it's different. Like, My Name is Mayo, games like that. My Name is Mayo is actually, it's the odd exception where it's actually, it's fun and it's ridiculous, but it's ridiculous. But the other 99p games that you can platinum in like 2-3 minutes, like Slide, stop platinuming those games. All you're doing is encouraging these companies to keep on making these games instead of actually making games with some depth. You can still have an easy platinum that you can do in minutes, but it doesn't have to be this stupid retro pixelated mess. Just stop encouraging these companies of doing it. Make them make good games.
I can't tell if you're talking to the viewer or you're talking to me at this point.
I'm talking to both. I'm talking to both.
Stop it.
More to your past self. You've kind of redeemed yourself now, so I can't hate on you anymore.
Young PlatinumBro needs to stop. Needed to stop. He needed an intervention, which he had. Josh, you and Josh in the Platinum Trophy taught me my error of my ways. Okay, that's fair. That's fair enough.
That's my thoughts.
So I've played a lot of garbage games, surprisingly. And I went through my trophy list last night, and I was like, which of these games would I not recommend? Some of them are... I have played a few little cheap platinums that have been really good fun. Like, a game that came up to me was Lost Wing, which was like a sort of like a shooter game where you're like an on-rail shooter. It was like £3. It was quite a fun 2-hour platinum. Like, I actually would recommend that for somebody who just wants to get lost in a game for a little bit. On a Vita, it would be great for a Vita. However, one game I played... This was like the game that I platinumed towards the very end. So when I was going for 450 plats is when I said I'm going to stop. And this was like Platinum 444 and Platinum 445. And that was Legends of Talia.
Did you have it written down somewhere?
Yeah, I wrote it down on my notepad. Legends of Talia. And that game was a graphic novel, a visual novel. If you've heard me speak of them in the past, you know that I'm not a big fan of visual novels. Not for the PlayStation anyway. I feel like it's not the platform. This isn't the medium for them to be on, personally. So on that, it's basically a game, but not only is it a visual novel, it's a game where you just put on fast text, press X once, and you get the platinum in about 45 seconds.
No.
I did it twice, and it was like 80p, right? So I had a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 5 stack, and it had 6 stacks, so you could have platinumed this game. You could have earned 6 platinums in 6 minutes. Somebody right now has seen this and thought, right... Write this down.
What is it?
How many? 6 in 6 minutes. Blimey. But I feel a bit like it's probably not the game, the plans you should be going for, because when you've done it, it's kind of like, well, what was the point? What have you achieved? Nothing really. You've spent £2 of your money or £1 of your money, and you've just sat there for 50 seconds and just thought, well, yeah, I've got a shiny platinum, but it kind of it's a hollow victory, very shallow victory, and you won't feel great afterwards. You won't feel like you've achieved something, and I think obviously me and Joel, definitely more you, Joel, and you know what we try to push on our channels and stuff is, you know, like completionists, finishing games and being proud of things and being proud of the work we've put in. And I feel like when you play those type of games, you don't always feel great about them. So Legends of Talia is definitely my game, and that's
look. I have nothing against like easy games. Like there's nothing wrong with having an easy platinum or even playing an easy game. Like God of War and Spider-Man, they're easy games. There's no difficulty trophy, so you can play the game on easy, and that's absolutely fine. Like you play the game however you want to play. My problem is these games like that one, which is just pointless. Like, do you even know what the story was?
Yeah, I mean, the slideshow was moving so fast. I don't think I saw any of the text.
Exactly. So you're not even playing the game. You know, that was the games that I was talking about. Like games you don't really play for the game. You just like games without any sort of like Trackmania, the skateboard one, Skate Master or something.
Mm-hmm.
There's no story to it. You just
Skate Master Checo. You just like
that's the one.
Yeah.
You just a side-scrolling dude on a skateboard, and there's no story behind it. There's no effort into that game. You should not be giving these developers money if they put like zero effort into a game.
So there is some games which have a bit more effort in, like that are quite easy. So is that what's it called? Like it's called like Thunder something. There's like Thunderbolt. I don't know. It's a few like arcade shooter games, and I think it's unfair to say that all of them are garbage. I think there's definitely some of them like like Tesla Grad and like Dagger Hood, where like they actually have good little art design, and they are maybe the game itself like another one's like is it Metagal and like Mecha Bolt. These are games that are like they're easy platinums that you can do in 30 minutes, but they've actually built probably like a 30 level game, but you only have to do 5 levels to get the platinum. And they've actually spent a lot of time in the games, and obviously they've structured the trophies in a way to entice people. But it's like the breakthrough arcade games, isn't it? It's like the visual novels where you can tell that someone spent like probably 30 hours over a month doing it in a spare time, and then they're making like $5,000 from it. Damn.
Listen, even Without Escape, it's a terrible game. Without Escape is a terrible game, but at least there's like different story paths you can go through. It's like a clicky game.
Oh, I didn't like that game.
Do choices. I didn't either. It was terrible. It was a horrible story as well. But
at least, horror one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was garbage.
But at least they had the effort of like different paths, different outcomes, this, that, and the other, rather than just,
I suppose people could argue it depends on how you play the game, doesn't it? I suppose people say, well, I really like playing visual novels, I really like playing 8-bit platformers, and who are you to say? And that's very true, and I think that's fair. But I think coming from a perspective of trophy hunter, I think when we play them for the trophies, that's when they become worthless.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm all for people enjoying visual novels, but if you're skipping it so that you can't even read what's going on, you're not really enjoying a visual novel.
Hey, I learned lots about that game. I can confirm it's about legend of Talia. The Legend of Talia is what it's about. So I basically know the plot anyway. That's a summary.
Would have never guessed.
No, exactly. On that, okay, let's move on because we've got a few topics I want to get through. So our next topic is another question submitted through the Discord. So thank you very much for this one. And this is our most boring platinum trophy we've ever done.
Yeah.
I've done a few, guys. Out of the 460 platinums I have, some stinkers and also some long grindy ones. Some great games as well, I suppose. But what comes to mind, Joel, for you?
Are we talking about like the game as a whole or just like specific sections? Because as a whole, I don't really think I've got like any boring games. But when you get to the platinum, there's certain trophies. Is that what we're talking about?
We'll say games that potentially earning the platinum trophy had a big boring part of it.
There's so many.
So many. The Dark Souls.
So many. Yeah. Dark Souls is one of them.
Oh really? The first one?
Yeah. You have to grind for like all the weapons. You have to do like 4 playthroughs.
Still a good game though, isn't it? So if you're
still a good game. Like I said Dark Souls first because that's like the least boring, but it can still be pretty tedious.
Yeah.
Digimon. The Digimon I just
very
did
recently in your mind.
Grinding for those medals. Good God. It was just RNG. I just hate RNG. Yeah, it's so annoying.
Red Dead?
Tomb Raider. Red Dead.
Online.
Red Dead 2. Online wasn't too bad. I think
I agree.
It was the studying the animals that got me. Because again, RNG, like some of the animals are RNG. Especially the panther. The Black Panther. That's RNG, and then you can't mess it up. Like panthers are such deadly animals that like if they grab onto you, you're pretty much dead, and then it's RNG again. And you have to study it, so you have to wait till that whole circle.
You stand there like this, shaking with a gun, like come on, come on.
Listen, I had one where I almost studied it, and then for some reason my horse got spooked, knocked me off the horse, and the panther killed me. Because
at the end, they just grab you and just like rip your throat out, don't they? One hit kill.
Yeah.
Imagine 3 hours waiting to find this panther, find you one, so you get spooked off your horse and slaughtered. And you're like, right.
That was literally it.
Back the drawing board.
That was literally it. You had to like reload your save over and over again if it didn't spawn, because it doesn't always spawn. It spawns in that area, but it doesn't always spawn every time.
And that's why whenever people ask me, PlatinumBro, why haven't you done Red Dead 2? That's why. That is why. Ain't nobody got time for that. We're doing like a backlog buster challenge in the Discord. Well, it just sort of came out of nowhere because I did a trophy list review for Attaboy's Baby, and basically I said, he has 10 games I think you should platinum out of your list, because he had quite a lot of unfinished games. It just started off this spiral of people being like, can someone suggest me what games I should clean up? Then someone was like, Lewis, you should put yours in. I'm like, no, because people are just going to say, you should finish Red Dead 2 and finish Crash Bandicoot. I'm like, and Uncharted. I'm like, I know I should finish those games, but I just don't want to, because they're hard and long, and I can't be bothered.
You should still do it though. It's still a good platinum to have. It's easier to do now, anyway. I'm sure there's workarounds now.
Yeah, there is. It is true.
Like especially online, there's a lot more things to do online now to get to level 50 than there were back then.
I want to do Crash first, I think, because it's a bit shorter. I'll probably do that in 25 hours of agony.
See, but Crash is like skill based. So Crash isn't even grindy because it's boring. Crash is just like you have to get good at the game. It's like Devil May Cry 5. You have to get good at the game.
There's like the post game platinum trophy grind. Get it out there. Usually consists of only really 2 things: some sort of boring grind, such as collectibles or leveling up, or some sort of extra difficulty.
Yeah,
so it's like
super bosses or something.
Super bosses, Devil May Cry 5, or playing the game on a harder difficulty, or time trials, or maybe online. With that, it does definitely involve some sort of ability anyway.
Yeah. So
it's kind of like, which do you prefer? Do you prefer the end game difficulty, or do you prefer the end game grind? Because one's easier but more time consuming, but one takes longer but it takes less time but takes a massive amount of focus. Like think how many times you got to do Crash Bandicoot again and again and again.
Personally, I prefer difficulty.
Damn.
Because it's more rewarding that way. If you're just grinding, like if you're just grinding over, I can compare like the two like getting the hardest difficulty Devil May Cry was so much more rewarding than just sitting there pressing X on this on a slot machine on Digimon just so the right medal pops up.
Do you remember in Dragon Quest XI where you have to do the horse races to get the medals? Did you do that?
Yeah, they weren't too bad.
So, just to clarify, for a bit of context, guys, basically when you're playing Dragon Quest XI, you have to find like so many mini medals. And do you use them to buy something? Is that what you use them for? To buy clothes or something? Or is it just all the middle? You have to collect so many mini medals. Basically,
I can't remember.
You get a mini medal for losing a race or winning. You think you get 2 if you win. So the idea is you basically just do a horse race, lose it, wait 2-3 minutes, do it again, and it's kind of like you do it probably for like 4 hours, and then you eventually get the trophy. And it is. I remember that being very, very tedious, as well as the collectibles in Dragon Quest XI. To be fair,
Dragon. Yeah.
Oh man!
Did you get all your characters level 99?
Yeah, but I used like an exploit
with the slime.
Yeah. It's not an exploit. You basically summon a super slime who gives you like extra XP.
Yeah. That's making me depressed.
Yeah, thinking about that. My game actually. My game, I had a thing. I thought, what are the most boring games I've played, or had really boring aspects to them? And I had a little bit of a turn, a little bit of a look, and although maybe a little shout out to Ghost of Tsushima for all those goddamn foxes. Maybe a little shout out to Spider-Man, even though it's a great game, all those goddamn crimes. Skyrim, all the Deirdre artifacts. Haven't got the platinum for that, but just saying. But the actual one that stood out was, in fact, Far Cry Primal, and that made us realize. In fact, now I thought about Far Cry Primal. And I looked and I saw Far Cry 3, and I thought, that game was boring as hell as well. The trophy stuff. I mean, back in the day, 2012, I did warn Jules, like, people might get agitated by this. Back 2012, Far Cry 3 was awesome, but I think playing it now in with 18 frames per second and the most just jankiest combat ever. That and Far Cry Primal for me were just so grindy towards the end because you had to do all the collectibles, especially Far Cry Primal, which was like all the beasts. It was just because it's just such a slow game because you just went everywhere, just walking everywhere. It was just horrendous. And I think back thinking I would probably not platinum a Far Cry game again. Far Cry 6 looks okay, but Far Cry 4 and 5, nah, pass.
I think all the Far Cry's to a certain extent. I think all the Ubisoft games to a certain extent, they're all grindy in their own way. Far Cry is always that clear all the settlements or
outposts,
outposts or whatever it is. They've all of them got that. Assassin's Creed is the same. Assassin's Creed nowadays is the collectibles or unlocking all the little question marks to see what it is, which it's just all rinse and repeat. So anything like that. Ghost of Tsushima, they'd kind of go down that road a bit with the foxes and the question marks and stuff, which kind of it made it tedious. I'd say usually the grind in most games is always the same things. It's like you said. It's always either the collectibles or, I mean, essentially clearing outposts and stuff to get a trophy is technically a collectible because you have to
do it,
clear them anyway.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be like a grind. The Witcher 3, I don't remember that having a grind,
but it definitely did though, didn't it?
It must have done.
Because I remember playing it. I haven't planned it for those who already know this, but I remember finding the outfits to the Griffin outfits and stuff and the cat outfits and stuff. I don't know if you had to do it for a trophy, but I remember doing it.
I remember doing it
to be happy armor to fight the bosses.
There was one trophy which was kill 50 bandits with headshots.
Yeah, with a crossbow or something.
Or something like that, or set them on fire or something. I remember just going to this bandit camp. There was about 10 of them, rinsing and repeating, meditating so they respawn, rinsing and repeating. And you have to do 50 kills or 100 kills or something. I think that was the most tedious.
Was there not one for pushing them off a cliff as well or something?
I can't remember. It was so long ago. I'm going to do it again soon because I've got the standard version. And I'm gonna. I don't know if I should do it. I don't know.
It'll take you hundreds of hours.
The Game of the Year edition took me about 150 hours to platinum.
Yeah, I think it's about 200 hours. Did you do the DLC?
Only one of them.
We need to do the DLC.
I should do the Blood and Wine one because everybody says it's the best one. I only did the Hearts of Stone one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll probably go back. Maybe I'll do that when I stream.
Yeah, be good idea.
Go to the Witcher.
GuyFarruski needs to start streaming soon. Let's all let him know. I think you should do it on YouTube as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing it on YouTube. I did a little poll on my channel not long ago, and most people they'd say YouTube. Yeah.
Any other games that come to mind that have been incredibly boring grinds?
Code Vein.
Code Vein.
The multiplayer, you have these medals that you only get in multiplayer, and yeah, you just have to rinse and repeat the same map because there's only one map that gives you like three medals. I think there's like, I can't remember how many medals. I think it's something stupid like 300 or something. And there's only one map that gives you either 3 or 4 medals. So you have to just rinse and repeat the map over and over and over and over again.
Not ideal.
Yeah, it was. I've played a lot of boring games. I've got a big boring game on the way as well, which is Monster Hunter World.
Are you actually going to do that?
Yeah, I'm going to try.
My God.
I'm going to try. Volister, bless him, he said, let me know when you start and he'll jump on with me because he's done it. He's platinumed the game. What
annoys me about that game mostly is the fact that the platinum trophy's not even that rare. It's like 20% or something, isn't it?
Not.
It's like 400 hours of your life to get a game that no one's going to even care you've done it. It's like, well, you'll care obviously, but that kind of puts me off because I played it. It's rough. It's a great game, to be fair. It's the best Monster Hunter game I've ever played, and I love the insect glaive on it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. But it's just a lot of grind. You got to do a lot of the same levels over and over again, and the levels aren't short. It's not like you jump in and like Diablo. You jump in and do a quest. You have to do 500 bounties, but each bounty takes you 4 minutes. It's like you might have to kill 500 beasts, and each one takes you 20 minutes.
Which is RNG as well.
Yeah,
because you have to get the
certain like loot and stuff.
The crowns or something. Yeah. Like you have to like the smallest one or the biggest one of each.
So yeah.
Oh, God help me. I'll probably leave that one as like one of the last ones on my backlog, to be fair. One that I can just like slowly go into it whilst playing something else.
Once you've done Rayman, you just jump into Monster Hunter World and just do 100 a day.
Yeah.
You get it. You get there eventually. Okay, let's move on to our next topic then. So again, our next topic today is actually going to be: should new trophy hunters play easy or hard games? So in terms of this, the question was basically like along the lines of: should people be playing games like AAA games like Spider-Man, God of War, or should they be going straight in for like Demon Souls and Bloodborne? Because those platinum trophies can be challenging, and for someone who maybe is new to the scene, they haven't necessarily done that much commitment yet. Because, guys, we always forget, earning trophies is quite a commitment. It's different to normal gaming. You know, you have to complete things. You have to spend probably double the time you'd spend with the game most of the time to get the platinum trophy. What are your thoughts, Joe? What would you recommend for people who are coming into this little atmosphere of ours?
I had to think a bit about this one because I had to also think about when I started trophy hunting as well. And the core thing when you're starting is just play what you want to play, because you don't want to burn yourself out straight away of like getting a game that you don't like and you just have to platinum. So play what you want, or play what you like the look of, but also be careful. Like have a little look at the trophy list first, because you don't want to end up stuck or having like, if you don't want a stain on your list, if you don't care about stains, then fine, just play whatever you want. But if you want to have like 100% completion, or you know, above a certain percentage, just be careful of the games you choose, because some games are hard to platinum, and not as a whole. Just some games are easy, and then you get one trophy that sets you back. Like FIFA especially, there's always that one that is highly skill based, and that can ruin your percentage. So play what you want, but just be careful in just have like a separate account. Have a side account.
It's always a good idea. I think people have to understand as well, sometimes like what you said with that trophy, there's sometimes you'll play a game for 20 hours and you'll get 25 trophies, then you'll play a game for 25 hours and not get a single trophy. So you feel like sometimes you're just spinning your wheels, you're working towards something that's quite time consuming. It can be tough. I think try and be a bit self-aware. It's hard to do, to just think, well, will I enjoy this game? Will I stick this game out? Because sometimes you will play a game, and for example, some games, which even like Ghost of Tsushima is a really fun 30-hour experience, but if you want the trophies, you got to play the game for another 20 hours, and you got to just think to yourself, like, can I spend 20 hours of my time doing something a little bit mundane when I know I maybe could be playing something else? And if that's not the case, then, you know, I would say don't worry about it. I would just say, you know, what Joel said, play what you want to play, but also think about what your level of determination is and your level of commitment, because some people don't want to commit to playing Find All the Foxes, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, for sure. If you are going to trophy hunt, the way I trophy hunt is I do everything that isn't story related first. So I get the boring stuff out of the way first if I can, and then I'll stick to the story, so I enjoy the game more. Because I did it the other way around with Ghost of Tsushima because I was doing a guide and it kind of ruined the experience for me because I enjoyed the story and the story was amazing. And then those final 20, 30 hours or 20, 25 hours of just endless question marks and going there and going there for just things that seemed pointless, which they were pointless at the time because you complete the story. It just kind of ruined it for me. I kind of have that memory now of Ghost of Tsushima of such a great game, but that ending, those last hours were just tedious to say the least.
Yeah, I think that can be definitely the problem where if you play a 50-hour game and the last 10 hours or 20 hours are grind, it does change your perception of the game. And I remember when I played Days Gone, I mean, I didn't think it was a great game. It was decent, but I think the horde mechanic in it was phenomenal. The amount of zombies and stuff on the screen, or freakers, whatever you want to call them, I think that was a really cool element which no one else has ever done. But I remember playing the challenges, especially the bike challenges, and that just really souring my experience of the game in the end. And I was like, oh god, this game is just not as good as I remember it being, or not as good as it was when I first started. So I think it is. I think what you said about looking at the games first, like, I mean, by all means, just play the game and have fun. But if you're actually thinking realistically, I want to play. If you want to finish every game you play, I think you should be looking at the games first. And I think I would probably say you should spend. It depends on how. It does depend on what types of games you play. But if you don't play a lot of hard games like me, I probably play 1 in 5 or 6 games as a challenging game. Then just stick to the easy games. Like, there's nothing wrong with playing a Wolf Among Us and a God of War, Spider-Man. Like, they're still platinum trophies, and sometimes I think people forget that even using the commitment in the time to get a platinum trophy in any game is still pretty impressive.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of like everywhere though, but there's a lot of self-entitled people around. That's the main thing for like new trophy hunters. Don't let other people like steer you away of thinking like your platinum isn't worthy. Unless it's like Slide, because that's definitely not worthy. But like just a good game like Spider-Man, everybody's got that platinum. Who cares? It's still, if everybody has that platinum, it means it's a good platinum to have. It means it's a great game and everybody wants to play it for longer. Yeah,
I think that's a good idea. I think that's a very, very good point. That there's a lot of entitled people. There's a lot of people looking down on others about games they play, which is just it's laughable. Yeah.
But nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares. So I think the community we've got, you need to be as positive as you can about it and try and say, well, and I want to encourage people in. I don't want to be telling people, oh, you're not a trophy hunter because you haven't got Dark Souls Platinum. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to have these hard games. Yes, they're great games, but they're not for everybody.
Yeah.
Dark Souls gave me a few white hairs. Like all 3 games, it was so frustrating. They were. I have never raged as much as I did with the Souls games. And yeah, it's funny to watch, but it's not good for you.
No.
Like you get to a state of depression that you think, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And that's not good either. So if you are going to go for like a hard game, my biggest advice for a hard game is instead of raging like I do, learn from why you got killed, because on those games they're so fair that 9 times out of 10, or maybe even 99 times out of 100, it's always your fault. It's always something you didn't do quite right, or there's like a certain mechanic you haven't discovered yet. So don't rage, kind of learn from it, because the amount of times I went into a boss fight and I've almost killed them, and then I died, and then I went in rage induced, and it'd be over in like 3 hits.
Let's go for it. Yeah, I think those games are very skill dependent. I think if you're playing a hard game, I think your outlook definitely makes a difference, and I think you got to go into those games. Like I went into Hades, knowing it's not really a hard game, but I went in going, I'm going to die. I'm going to die a lot, and I'm going to learn from it, and that's kind of how it's going to be for the first 20 hours, and I'm not going to earn any trophies. I'm going to just learn the game first, and I think that's exactly the same with like the harder games. Any game, Soulsborne, Devil May Cry, like Super Meat Boy, you go in thinking, okay, I'm going to train for the platinum. That's what I thought when I played Crash as well. It's like, I'm not playing for the platinum right now. The first 30 hours, 50 hours are me actually training to be good enough at the game to actually stand a chance of doing it. And I think that's a good outlook to have, because I remember playing like against Amygdala in Bloodborne in the Chalice Dungeons. It did take me about 8 hours to do, 9 hours of playing the same boss over and over again. And the boss battles were only 10 minutes. So, we're talking there like, I think it was about 60, 70 attempts, to be honest. Maybe more than that. It was like 3 or 4 days of being stuck on this guy. I remember at the time I felt it was quite unfair, because I was getting so frustrated, and because that one was like the stand-up boss for me, where everything else was a little bit was manageable. But at the time, it was learning when not to attack and not to be overly aggressive and to bide your time. Ultimately, was what the point of the boss battle was, because it was basically one-shot kill because you're on half health.
I do have to say, Amygdala is probably an unfair boss because of that one-shot kill, because of that jump, because if it hits you, you're instantly dead, and it's kind of random. It's kind of random and it's kind of not random, but there's a very short time you have to react.
Yeah.
In order for it not to hit you. So Amygdala's kind of a bit of an exception, but I think everybody kind of it's a wall for almost everyone. If it's not Amygdala, it'll be the fire dog.
He's tough as well. Well,
one or the other.
For those who haven't played it, guys, I know a lot of people have played Bloodborne. Amygdala's just this like giant beast basically, and you're on like you have a very little health, one to kill, and basically towards the end of the fight, what you'll do is you'll be stood next to him and you'll jump up and vanish, and then you'll land in different positions every time, and basically, so if he hits you, he kills you.
Keep in mind, this is a massive beast, so the chances of it not hitting you when it jumps is very slim, which is why you have a very small window where some people don't even move. Some people just stay still.
Yeah,
I found that taking a step forward and dodging, that's the way I managed to do it. But some people stay still. I tried staying still and I just died all the time.
I found sometimes it worked. I found sometimes what you had to do is you had to take like a fractional step backwards because you would always land forward and you would land just in between his feet. But sometimes that wouldn't work. So you use it. If he's doing it every 30 seconds in the towards the end of the fight. So you've got a fight and there's basically 5 or 6 jumps you're going to do. So there's 5 or 6 attempts, chances for him to kill you in one hit. So when you get towards the end, you think, okay, I'm doing well now, and then just boom, just takes it away from you. It's like pretty soul destroying, very frustrating.
It's such a long fight as well.
Yeah, it's like,
it takes you a good 10 minutes to get him to that stage where he starts jumping.
Yeah, the first 4 or 5 minutes when you actually know what you're doing is manageable. It's like the win. It feels like the introduction to the actual fight at the end. It is rough.
We should definitely play Bloodborne.
Yeah, definitely play Bloodborne. We should play it. It's a great game.
On an alternate account if you don't want to go for the platinum. Yeah. Because the game itself is great. I think the game itself is pretty user friendly as well. Once you learn the very few mechanics, you can cheese the game with that axe. Like I cheese the game. I cheese most of the game with that AOE, the double spin attack. Yeah. Good God, that just annihilates everything in your path.
Yeah.
But once you actually get good at the game, once you learn to parry, the parry is beautiful. Once you nail it down, it's so satisfying to do. And I think out of all the Soulsborne games, I think maybe Bloodborne is probably the most beginner-friendly one, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think it does feel like a bit of an intro one. I think, the thing is, it's such a good game, most people will probably want to platinum it anyway. But, yeah, I think if you just play the game without the trophies, you can probably do it in like 35 hours, 40 hours, and just have a good time with it. And it's not everything's about finishing every game. That's another thing for beginners. Like, you just play the games you want to play, and if you want to finish a few games here and there, you finish a few games here and there. It's kind of how you should play. Balance is key.
100%.
On that, do you have anything else to say before we move on to our final topic?
No, I think that's it. I think that's pretty much all the tips for people wanting to start trophy hunting. Okay, so
we've got one more topic for today, which is a little bit left field. It's something I wanted to speak about for a while. Someone suggested it on Patreon quite some time ago, which is should there be trophies and achievements on the Nintendo Switch system?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. I don't think there should be. So you tell me why you think there should be.
It encourages people to play the game for longer. It encourages people... Trophies are one of those things that, if they're done right, obviously, like achievements, if they're done, they have to be done right. But it gives you... it makes you explore parts of the game that you wouldn't usually explore. One thing that I've got in mind is if there wasn't a trophy in Ghost of Tsushima for having the Sly Cooper armor, you would have never put the dots together. And it's a nice armor to have.
True.
You would have never connected the dots and seen that armor.
And there's also like I'm just thinking like Dead Space. There's a trophy for finishing the whole game just with the plasma cutter, isn't there? And it's like if you if trophies didn't exist, you would just play the game a lot easier, and you wouldn't experience the game the way they wanted to experience in that way. And I mean, I would never experience Last of Us on grounded mode, and I think Last of Us on grounded mode is such a fantastic way of playing the game. It's really hard, it's really challenging, but it's like it feels like a thriller, survival, horror game. Whereas if you play Last of Us on medium, it feels like an action game. It feels like almost like Uncharted because like supplies are so plentiful, but on grounded it's like tense. Every single fight with a human could like end in you dying, and I suppose without those trophies I wouldn't have experienced that, definitely. But I suppose the reason why I'm saying no is because I think that it kind of they do the same, like what you said there. They make you play games in different ways, but also they make you play games in not the way you want to play. So kind of like, well, if you like, you should be able to play the game however you want to play and not be influenced by external factors. And I think trophies do that. Trophies and achievements make you aware of things, and they make you want to play it in certain ways. And I think it's more freeing. I think as someone who's obviously come from the perspective of someone who is a trophy hunter, is quite shackled by trophies. I think what a lot of us are. I think it's a freeing platform.
Which is why the key thing I said was they have to be done right. Like there shouldn't be a trophy that gives you a handicap. Like if you find the game too easy, you should handicap yourself. Like let's say Spider-Man, even on the hardest difficulty, it's still more than manageable. It's still an easy game. If you want to handicap yourself, play Spider-Man without using any of the gadgets.
Yeah,
you could do that handicap on yourself. I mean, it's definitely a double-edged sword, the trophy system and the achievement system, 100%. Like it makes you explore things that you wouldn't usually explore, but it also, because developers, they want you to play the game for longer. They will always put, well, not always, but 9 times out of 10, they will always put a few trophies that will make you play the game for longer, even if it is a tedious task or even if it is something boring to do.
Well, yeah, it's the idea that like you're taking that influence. People are influenced. Trophies are influenced by what developers want to do, and yeah, they might make you want to play the game in a certain way, or they might make you want to play the game for longer. And then sometimes in extreme situations, I suppose the game does change because there's achievements in it. And I think what you said before about you making your own difficulty, I think it's a really good point, because like I play Ghost of Tsushima on hard, and if you play Ghost of Tsushima, I really, really recommend you play it on hard, because it just means that you take more damage, but it feels a lot fairer, because especially the combat, the actual just like in-game combat it's really fast, and like, you know, you kill enemies in a couple of hits, but it's good to feel like you're strong and they're strong, and it's more about skill. And that's why I like Jedi Fallen Order as well, like on the higher difficulties, because it was like Jedis should be killing people in one hit because of how strong the lightsabers are, but also they're not invincible. The only reason why they're so strong is because they're so well trained, and their ability to avoid damage is so good. And it's sort of like it creates a better atmosphere, but you didn't need trophies to know that, to experience that. You can experience it yourself if that's the way you want to play the game.
That's difficulties done right, and not many games nail it down.
No,
there's very few amount of games that you know you turn up the difficulty and it's still fair. They change the parameters, but like for Jedi Fallen Order, your parry window is tiny.
Yeah, so
you have to get good at parrying, and when you do get good at parrying, the game is just so much more fun to play, because you literally feel like a god, and you know it's from your skill. You know, it's not, you know, the game giving it to you in a platter. You know you're good enough.
Yeah. That's how being a Jedi should feel, in my personal opinion, and how a samurai should feel. You should feel like a master of your trade, and that's why you're so good. Not because you've got like ridiculous amounts of health and you can take 20 grenades to the face. It's actually because you're a Jedi.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Jedi Fallen Order's probably got the best combat. I know a lot of people, I think it was very mixed, Jedi Fallen Order. I think some people loved it, some people didn't. I am on the love camp.
I loved it.
I loved the
combat. You should play Sekiro. Did you play Jedi Fallen Order on the hardest difficulty? You didn't, did you?
I played it on I think I played it on medium and then a bit higher at times. But I think, to be honest, I didn't spend enough time with the game to get really good at the parrying. But I think in hindsight, I probably should have, because that's how I loved Ghost of Tsushima so much, because I got good at the parrying, because parrying's brilliant in it as well. So
Sekiro is the game for you.
I know.
I reckon you'd be really good at it. I reckon you'd get the mechanics down pretty fast. Just forget everything you know about Bloodborne. That's the main thing I say.
Stop rolling and stop being so aggressive.
Rolling in Sekiro is
a no-go.
Is a no-go.
No-go. No. Fair enough. Okay, so on that, I think, Joel says yes, I say no. What are your thoughts down below? Let us know. Achievements for Switch or not? I'm pretty strong that I think that reality is... Not that reality. I think it's good. Nintendo are against the grain. They don't care. They just want to do their own thing and have people enjoy their games for what they are. And I think, let them have it.
That's true. That's fair. You do. It's nice to have like one platform at least where you don't have to, you know, as a completionist, no matter what you do, like as a completionist, if we started playing on Steam, we'd still want to get the achievements.
Yeah.
Because every game's got an achievement. So it's nice to have like one separate platform that doesn't, like, I can jump on Pokemon on the Switch. Oh, not on the Switch, on the DS.
Just
have to worry about, you know, do I have to do this? Do I have to do that? I just play it. Just lose myself in it. So yeah.
Take the game for what it is, a video game, and not worry about anything else. Okay, we'll move on to our last question. So I told Vigilant Crew I would ask this question because when I was collecting questions, he suggested this one. I said, please give me trophy hunting questions. And he went, trophy hunting questions. Okay, here you go. Do you prefer to play in a cold or hot room? And how does it affect you when you're gaming in those?
Oh, I've actually experienced both of those, and it's uncomfortable in both. I have to. The room has to be the right temperature. It can't be too hot. Can't be too cold.
21 degrees. 18?
21 degrees is, yeah, I think that's what the room is probably about now. But I don't know. If it's too hot, you're going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel sticky. You're going to feel sweaty. When you're stressed, you're going to get sweaty anyway. Your body temperature is going to rise anyway. And feeling the sweat dripping down on the side of your body is just disgusting. You feel disgusting. Well, and then when it's too cold, your fingers start hurting.
Yeah,
because it's that cold. Yeah,
I think I definitely hate gaming in the heat. I think this year we obviously had that. England have had quite a few little heat waves where things have been like, even up in Newcastle, it's been like 26 degrees at times. In London, it's been like 32, 33, and there's been like days where like I've been at work. Obviously, I work in this chair, and it's been like this leather seat just sticks to me, and you're like sitting there, you're like dripping with sweat, and I was just like, I didn't want to be in the room, so I've got this monster fan. But if that fan wasn't there, I generally think I would have just been like hiding in the shower, crying for like all day until the heat stopped. Whereas the cold. You know, I'm from the north of England. I don't mind the cold. I just put a hoodie on and put some gloves on, and I'd probably be more than happy. I'd probably prefer to play in 5 degrees than 35 degrees, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
Joe can't handle the heat.
Shaking.
The sun, sorry, should I say. The cold.
Shaking. You'd be shaking you'd be shivering all the time. You could put more layers on, but your hands would have to always be exposed. Because you can't, unless you get like this. Oh no, I don't know. He is still bad though.
But you know what you could do? You could put like you could have like a hoodie on, and then you could have like put the console in a little pouch and just play like that.
Oh, you can't.
You can't do that.
No, I've tried.
Doesn't work.
There's the pouch just isn't big enough.
Oh, goddamn.
It's always too tight. It's always too restricting.
And you get one of those hoodies. Have you seen them? Like giant, like dressing gown, like tops, like giant dresses with like fur inside.
Yeah.
Get one of them. It'll be fine.
My dressing gown is actually those fluffy ones. I love them.
Yeah, I've got a fluffy Spider-Man one. Shark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, shark. It's very thin though, so it's kind of like you feel really toasty, and then as soon as you go outside, you're like, oh my god, the wind is cutting through this bad boy.
Yeah.
So right to the core.
Yeah, temperature needs to be ideal. Temperature needs to be ideal for anything really. Like you being too hot or too cold, you can't really, unless you're working out. I think working out. I prefer working out or playing football in the cold, rain. I love playing football in the rain.
Really?
Yeah, love it.
Just slip and slide everywhere.
Playing. Oh, sliding tackles are the best.
You just go for like 12 meters, just like.
You slide tackle when that grass is dry and hot. It's like sliding on concrete.
Sorry.
Just
sliding on fire. Just grazing your knees to bits.
Yeah, definitely.
One sec, sorry. Oh, stop it.
Dexter agrees.
He's seen some bird outside and he's decided to have a bark and a run around. Alright, anyways, on that, what we'll do is we'll wrap things up, Joel. Thank you very much for coming on and being my glorious co-host. Do you have any closing statements other than boost with me?
Boost with me, yeah. You know me so well.
What game are you going to work on next?
I've got a few. I'm working on the FIFAs at the minute.
So do you need help boosting with that one or not?
Yeah, FIFAs especially because the servers are just dead now. So anybody who has like FIFA 17, 18, 19... Let the
guy know. Help a guy out.
Let me know down below.
Help him out.
Servers are... I think that's it. After that, I don't know. I'm just going to work my way through the games I already have and then slowly just buy the ones that I need to buy. If the servers close, they close. It's one of those.
It is what it is. We don't care
it is
that
what
much.
It is. Yeah.
I'd like to thank you, the viewer, very much for watching this video. Do not forget to like and subscribe. And of course, check out Joel's channel. The link is down below. And as well, if you like listening to us ramble on, remember that we have another anime podcast. Well, another podcast called Farruski's Anime Podcast where we talk about all things anime. Our last video was with Josh from the Platinum Trophy where we spoke about My Hero Academia, which is my favourite anime and probably one of my favourite TV shows of all time now. So you should definitely check it out if you haven't watched it already.
Yeah, definitely up there with one of the best.
Yes. And on that, take it easy.
Bye-bye.